Movement for life. That really has a nice flow to it, doesn't it? We often, though, think that movement or exercise has to be a certain way. We have to run, or we have to bike ride, or we have to go for, this high intensity workout. And we have in our mindset very straight kind of what it has to be, but forgetting that what works for somebody else might not necessarily work for you. Realizing that movement can be anything that works for you that allows you to move your body and make it a part of your life is something that happens every day, every week. And if it's not every day, at least 3 times a week. So that's the topic we're going to dive in today. And with me today, I have Shelby. Thank you very much, Shelby. I'm really looking forward to this really, really important conversation.
I'm sure it'll be a good one. It's one I'm passionate about, that's for sure.
Yeah, super. And for those of you that are new, this is Mindful Conversation. I'm Tanya Otterstein-Liehs, your host, and let's get into this. So, Shelby, before we deep dive into it, tell us a little bit about yourself and if there's a very important, specific message you really feel you need to share with people out there.
Yeah, I have a lot of messages, I feel. So I am a certified strength coach by trade. I'm a mom to three little girls, and we who are in the gym with me every single day. And bit by bit, I think we've just worked movement kind of into our lifestyles. I actually used to be a crazy fast food junkie, a smoker, and it was a running joke that if I was being attacked, I'd stand a better chance standing and fighting because I couldn't run down the block without being pretty gassy. So I definitely turned it around a little bit. If there's one message I think that I would want to give to people, two. I'm gonna go with two messages that I want to give to people. The first is that showing up counts. So we have in our minds that we need to schedule a 30-minute workout, and if we can't make a 30-minute workout work, then there's no point in doing it, and we kind of get into that rut
Yeah.
of, well, what's the point? But the truth is, showing up counts in any way, for any time, however, whatever that looks like for you. Showing up really does matter. And the second is just to find things you enjoy. So you're never going to make fitness part of your actual lifestyle if you hate it. So it's a little bit easier when you just slowly weave it into your lifestyle, and it's something that you can do without thinking. That kind of brings you a little bit of joy. Obviously, workouts are going to be a little bit more challenging, but the day-to-day stuff should be fun.
Yeah. I love it when you said, it's basically it is a part of your life, right? And that no one's going to do it for you, right?
No.
No one's going to, I mean, the only one that can make you do it is yourself. Maybe you're thinking, I'll have accountable partner. Yeah, but how are they going to help you be accountable? Really, it's up to you to make sure you're accountable to yourself, to make sure you allow the permission to happen and allow flexibility, right? It's maybe that 30-minute workout you want to, but it just doesn't fit your schedule, or you don't like the thought of it. If you don't like the thought of it, you're not going to stick to it. And then that whole negative mindset begins, right? Allow flexibility. Maybe you're doing maybe, a workout 3 times a week, but then the next week's like, oh my gosh, I don't have room. I can only fit in one or two. Well, that's fine. I always say then go for a walk instead, or ride your bike or go tobogganing, whatever time of season it
Yeah.
is. Allow yourself flexibility. And what are your thoughts on this, Shelby? When you allow room for flexibility, then it's going to take the stress off, and you're going to make yourself open to doing whatever comes or opportunity is for you to move your body in a way that works for you.
I like that idea because so first off, as a coach, I can tell you firsthand that mindset is a big limiting factor for people. Like, we just get stuck in that rut.
Mhm.
And it does make a difference, but flexibility is key. Especially, I have three kids who are now under 7. My oldest just turned 7, but it is very, very busy, and sometimes
Yeah.
it just doesn't happen the way
Yeah.
that I would love it to happen, and that's okay. So I think being flexible with yourself puts you in a better position. That is something you have to do. It's not written in stone. There's no perfect system. And I wish people would understand that there's so many different avenues you can take
Yeah.
to one goal. that there's not one that you need to follow. So I think it's more about finding a system that works for you and your lifestyle of where you are right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would love to hit the gym 4 days a week for 45 to 60 minutes, but my life right now, that's just not going to happen. So I've learned that the little things kind of add up. So if we
Hmm.
can get in a 20-minute workout in the mornings, awesome. And then we run, bike, walk to school, and then we play tag, and then we all those little things add
Yeah.
up, and those are fun things.
Yeah.
So if you take the pressure off of yourself of the things that you quote unquote have to do,
Mhm.
things tend to fall into place a little bit easier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're so right that it's 20 minutes here, it's 5 minutes here. It doesn't matter. It adds up. Like I said, it adds up at the end. I always say if I have to go somewhere, I try and park my car far as possible. So that little walk, it's something, right? And I find that women are so wonderful, excel at focusing on what they didn't do, what they didn't get their workout, or they didn't get their run in, they didn't get their walk in, but forgetting to be flexible and focusing on, but you did get like a quick walk around the block. That is something, right? That is something.
Everything counts, right?
Yeah,
Like
everything
showing up
counts.
matters.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. And then realizing too at the same time that, what maybe you did when you were younger. For example, what I did when I was younger, now I'm in my 50s, it's completely different. It's not on that higher scale, I'll say, that it was before. But the fact is that mindset, you're moving, and that movement brings joy. It raises the endorphins. It makes you feel good about yourself. Overall, people start to kind of feel that positive vibrational energy. And then, you tend to have more of a smile. And I feel as well, and let me know, Shelby, your thoughts on this, that when you look in the mirror and you move your body and you make it part of your life, you become less judgmental. I mean, that judgment will always be, we excel at being an inner critic, right? But that judgment becomes a little bit more quiet.
You feel like you did something. You feel like you accomplished something no matter how you moved. And I think that's really important. So for me, we're morning people in this house. We are up at
Yeah.
5 a.m. So normally all of our stuff is done between 5 and 8 a.m. But for us, that just makes us feel better for the day. So when we get outside earlier, when we work out early, you do get that endorphin hit, which is kind of
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
But because of that accomplishment feeling, like, hey, I've already done one thing for myself.
Yeah.
I'm good no matter how the day plays out, because it's probably going to be chaos here.
Yeah.
You at least feel a little bit better about that one thing.
Yeah, so true. And what allows you, Shelby, to get up in the morning, make self-care part of your routine? I mean, you've kind of touched base on it, that it gets your endorphins going, it gets you awake, it gets you pumped, and it's done, right? And before you answer that, just prime example too, I hear women say, "Oh, but I can't get up early." Well, you know what? You can. It becomes a routine, right? Like I was up before 5. It's like, okay, it's 5:30. It's still dark out, but okay, our dog and I, we went for an hour walk. So what motivates you, Shelby, to make that self-care a part of your routine and enhances the loving myself for doing that?
So loaded question because I feel like there's definitely a lot of things. It is rare that I want to actually jump into my workout in the morning. I'm sitting there with my coffee and I would love to just keep sitting there.
Yeah.
But for me, the biggest reason that I do jump into that workout is I find it makes me more sane. It makes me more patient. It makes me a better mom. I feel I'm not as frazzled when I get that one thing for me done.
Yeah.
I also really enjoy being strong. Being strong is really fun to me. So that's always a great motivator. It means I can keep up with my kids and I can bike ride with them and I can
Yeah.
still tackle them and play and do monkey bars. And those things are super, super important to me. So, yes, it is a stress release, which is amazing. And I find that me being patient is kind of crucial with 3 kids.
Yeah.
So that tends to get me off the couch. I have a rule too, and that is to just go start my warm up. So, whatever happens in the workout, that's fine. But the goal is to just start moving, because once you start, you can just kind of get into your groove and you keep going. And some days it's a little shorter than you'd like, some days it's longer, and all of that is okay. But just start moving.
Yeah.
As for the morning thing about people not being able to get up, it is hard. Starting a new routine is never going to be the comfiest thing in the world. I used to be a crazy night owl too, and having to make that switch was not awesome. But eventually it does become a little bit more routine based. And then when you focus on the positives of that routine, so it sets up my day better. I feel just a lot better when I've accomplished something. I'm less stressed. I can kind of handle all the things that come at me. When you focus on those, and it makes it just a little bit easier to get up the next day and the
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes second nature.
I love how you were honest in saying that, it's hard a lot of mornings, right? You're just sitting there enjoying the moment, enjoying your coffee. It's like, oh, do I really want to go work out? Do I have to really go work out? And you're like, no, you know what? I can sit here and moan about it for another 20 minutes, or just I can just do it. And before you know it's done and you're feeling this high, this positive high. And you're right, it can be a struggle, but the fact, and I love how you have that mindset, Shelby, that if it's not the same and if I don't feel as strong and I don't feel energetic, that's okay. I'm going to allow myself to feel that way, right? That's that positive mindset. And if I'm not being what I thought I was going to be, as in the workout, it's okay. The fact is, I'm here now, I'm moving it some way.
Yeah. All
So,
movement matters, right? Like I
yeah,
think it just comes down to that. Movement's important. It
yeah,
matters. It may not always look like how you want it to look, especially if you have littles at home or you are just jam-packed schedule wise. But also remember that it's a stage of life.
yeah.
Okay. And there are multiple stages in your life and things can change. They will change. And being adaptable in that sense is going to keep you fit and moving long term.
Mhm. And I think it's really important too, that my our kids are much older. They're like 16 and 19, but movement has always been a part of my life. And I feel that when your kids are young and they see that you've made movement a part of your life, they follow in those footsteps, right? My husband and I have always been like, running or cycling or working out weights, whatever. I'm not working out with weights like I used to, but when your kids see you like yours are when they're young, they become active a part of their life too, right? Either
Yeah.
cycling or whatnot. And then it's something when you stay active, you age, I'll say in a more positive way, and your kids will maintain their activities well. And I'm thinking too, like down the road, you know, should I become a grandmother, which I hope, but I want to be able to play with those grandkids
Yeah.
still, right? I don't want to like just be frigid and I can't get on the floor with them or I can't ride a bike with them. So making it a part of your life is so important. It's like brushing your teeth,
Yeah.
right? You do
Well,
it every day without thinking about it.
and it is completely that in our house to the point that on when I throw in a rest day, my kids are confused. They don't know why we're not in the gym because they have breakfast in the gym and then they hop into the workout. And it's so ingrained in them that
Yeah,
this is just what we do. It's not are we going to work out today?
yeah.
It's just we go down there and we do something. But my oldest right now is very close to getting her first chin up. She's very excited about that. My youngest just got her monkey bars, and my 18-month-old can hang on a bar for 7 seconds. So it really is monkey see, monkey do. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love that they have something that they
Mhm.
enjoy. So my biggest rule with exercise and having them in the gym is to not talk about weight loss or body things
Exactly.
unless it's how awesome our muscles are.
Yeah.
But we talk a lot just about how much fun it is to be strong. So we're
Mhm.
doing this because being able to run fast is really cool, and
Mhm.
being able to hang on monkey bars makes it fun to play.
Yeah.
We talk about a lot of those things, and I hope that down the road that's what they think of when they're choosing kind of whatever movement suits them.
Yeah.
So as long as they're moving, it doesn't matter. But I hope
Yeah.
that they think of those things.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, my son's he's now, he's university, so he's gotten quite strong. He's very into working out at the, at the
Oh,
university gym. So, but again, I really feel that that sets them. I mean, already when they're in utero, right, and you're moving your body, that's already in there. That flow and the flow that it makes you proud as a parent to see them taking care of their body, not because what they see is out there, but because they know and they realize how it makes them feel
yeah,
good. And of course, at the age they are, it is a appearance thing too, right? But I think more so that the ability that I'm flexible, I'm able to move, I'm stronger, I feel more
You're
confident.
confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, so important. Now, Shelby, if you're comfortable, is there a personal challenge that you can share with the audience that you're having right now?
Balance.
Uh-huh.
So I've worked from home from about 12 years now. I have 3 kids and I run 2 businesses at home. So it's very busy. And finding it time to do all the things, I'd say would be the struggle in life right now. Um, which I think is always going to be a little bit of a struggle with kids. When you run your own businesses too, there's always something you can do, right? There's always something you should be doing.
Yeah.
So it's easy to sit down after they go to bed and work for another 3 hours. And then all of a sudden you realize you haven't stood up and it's 10 p.m. and that's my bedtime. and
Yeah.
it's a whole thing. So I'd say that balance is an ongoing struggle at the moment. Um, but I think that's always going to be a little bit of a thing. My youngest just started daycare, so I'm hoping that helps. And just reminding myself that there is always something you could be doing. So sometimes we need to focus on things I want to do
Mhm.
versus could be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's really important how you pointed that out because often you'll hear women say that my life's too busy, right? But you're like you just mentioned, like you have 2 businesses you're running. Your life is busy. You have 3 young ones, but you're still making a movement, a part of your life. You're fitting it into your schedule and you're finding a time that works for you. And that is first thing in the morning before my crazy day starts, right? So, so
yeah.
important. And when we look around, there's so much negativity out there. There always has been. And what's something that helps you maintain a positive mindset when everywhere you look, whether it be people in your own circle, whether it be people around the world, are negative? So, what helps you keep that overall, that positive mindset?
So first off, I think surrounding yourself with appropriate things, we'll say, is a good avenue. Meaning, if you have someone that is constantly a Debbie Downer,
Yeah.
that's going to rub off on you and that's going to affect your emotions too. So I think what you surround yourself with is very important. And I try my best to acknowledge that when I can. I think having time to sort through your head is really important. So for me, my head gets just really jumbled, and that's when I run. So running is my mental thing because I work out with my girls every day in the gym. It's not that I can be mindless there. So running, I can get out of the house, I can sort through. But for me, when it comes to positive mindset, I try to focus. My big mantra, my big thing that I repeat to myself is to focus on things you can control.
Mm,
So I can control how I react to things.
mhm.
I can make a list and implement a plan of action, but I cannot control other people and what they're doing and all of that drama. And I just don't have time to deal with all of that drama. So I do my very best to stay positive by just focusing on the things that I can control and where I want to be and where I want to go and how I want to kind of live. Okay, so those are all in my control, not someone else's.
Yeah.
Now, that does take some effort. I am classically a very pessimistic person. So that's taken a lot of work over the last few years to not react with that poor me mindset or just terrible mindset. But slowly but surely, it's coming along.
Yeah, lovely. So what I'm hearing in this conversation is, movement, we need to allow choices of flexibility, choices to allow ourselves to realize that, maybe we're not feeling the greatest, so we're not going to be as strong. The fact of finding movement to fit into your day when it works for you, finding joy in the movement, making it a part of your life, really realizing that it's something that we can do for as long as we live. And knowing that how you go in with that mindset is going to make a difference, right? You can choose to mope about it and, oh, I don't want to do this. And do I have to do this? Or you can choose to, I'm going to start with taking a little step. I'm going to start with stretching, warming up, and I'll take it from there. So great, great shares there today. What about, you mentioned, Shelby, a quote. You said there's a mantra. So, if that is your mantra or your quote of life, one that resonates with you, can you share that again, please?
So I have a couple, I think, depending on where I'm at in life,
Yeah.
but focus on what you control is what you can control is my biggest one. I also really enjoy don't put in half the effort if you only want half, or if you want more than half the results. And I know that one sounds a little hard when you first hear it. When I first heard it, I was like, excuse me. Um, but showing up does count. And so remembering that the choice is on you. So if you truly want to make fitness part of your lifestyle, movement part of your lifestyle, you have to make that choice. Okay. And it's not comfy. And it's definitely a challenge to change routines and change habits. And sometimes it is just uncomfortable to move when you're not used to a movement, when you're
Yeah.
learning new things in the gym, out of the gym. But if you really want it to be part of your lifestyle, you have to put in the effort. Okay. They say it takes 6 weeks to create a habit. So make a roadmap, map out your habit, and stick with it for 6 weeks. Okay. Don't put in half the effort unless you're okay with half the results.
Yeah, yeah. And you can even take that a step further too, right? There's sticky notes. They're so easy to purchase anyways, right? So when you completed whatever it is, like, wow, I did it, celebrate that. Write it down, put it on the mirror. So when you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, there's my reminder, right? And
Yeah.
every day put a new reminder on there of your accomplishment and what you did and what brought you joy. Put it on your fridge anywhere as that constant reminder, because it's one thing to do it and know it, but it's another thing to constantly see it
Yeah.
and read it. And that's when it begins to really sink in and
Yeah.
allow yourself to actually believe it and acknowledge it and pride yourself and celebrate, right? Celebrate that baby step. Yeah.
And the baby steps matter. I think that's what we really overlook. We look at the long-term goal or the big goal sometimes, but we don't look at all those little
Yeah,
achievements along the way, and they really do matter.
they
They
do.
add up. It's sometimes remembering that you don't always have to go hard and go home
Yeah.
type of thing. Again, any movement matters. It adds up.
It does. It does. Now, Shelby, you mentioned your mom, so you cannot choose family as your answer in this question. So, Shelby, if today was the last day of your life, what would you be most grateful for?
That's a really hard question for the record. Honestly, I'd probably say my health.
Mm,
So I being active and being strong lets me do fun things. So I really like that I am able to keep up with my kids or go for a bike ride or run with my dog or just do all of the things that I truly enjoy doing, especially in the summer months. I live in Canada, so winter I tend to hibernate a bit more. But I'm really, really thankful for my body's ability to do all of the things.
I love that you said that because I gratitude journal every day. And the number one sentence, thought, gratitude, feeling, and blessing I have every day is I'm grateful for my health because it keeps me alive and living. And that health too is part of mindset, right? It's moving that body, it's that mindset. That mindset, you and I have talked about it today, is it's a huge part of what's going to allow you to move forward on this beautiful journey that you have a choice to make, right?
And it is a choice.
Yeah, exactly. It is, and no one's going to do it for you. You got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Advice. We're all given advice, but what's the best piece of advice someone has given you, Shelby?
To ignore everyone else's path. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier that there are multiple ways to achieve a goal, all goals. There's not one direct path. And I think trying to conform yourself to one path is where we get super stressed and rigid and then quit. It's kind of this little cycle. So I think ignoring everyone else's way of doing things and spending the time to trial and error a way that suits you so perfectly is worth it. Whether
Yeah.
that's in food, movement, whatever way you want to swing that, find the one that works for you and no one else.
Love it, love it, love it. So, movement for life. That was the conversation Shelby and I have just had, and reminding you to move your body in a way that brings you joy, that brings you happy. Keep it simple. Keep it in a way that's going to fulfill you with empowerment, and have yourself do it. Realize that it's a way of life, just like brushing your teeth. It's part of your routine. And when you go to bed, just like always, make this a part of your routine. Think about the best thing that happened. And when you wake up in the morning, either write it down or put it out to the universe, things that you are grateful for. This is Tanya Otterstein-Liehs saying thank you again for listening to another episode of Mindful Conversation. And thank you very much for your time, Shelby, and sharing in your words and your thoughts and your wisdom. Bye-bye.
Thank you.